that could be contaminated with black rubber. The raw ground frozen pork patties were produced and packaged on September 27th and October 17th and 18th of last year. Customer complaints about the black rubber sparked the recall, but there have been no reports of any injuries. For a full list of the meat under recall, go to our website, kgun9.com. Alcohol makers are looking to expand beyond alcohol, apparently. Yeah, new data shows that alcohol sales were actually down just under 1% last year, driven largely by lower beer sales. That has some alcohol companies trying out new things like teas and energy drinks. Some in the industry say alcohol sales could also take more of a hit as marijuana continues to be legalized. Well, cookie lovers can rejoice this morning. It's officially cookie season for the Girl Scouts of Southern Arizona. The season kicked off on Saturday with thousands of cases of cookies ready to be sold across the community. Now, according to the Girl Scouts of Southern Arizona, about 200,000 cookies arrived to the Old Pueblo on Friday. If you'd like to stock up on your favorites, go to our website, kgun9.com, to find where they are being sold near you. And here's an excuse to hold your family, friends, and loved ones a little bit tighter today. Today is National Hugging Day, okay? Hugging is a universal gesture, as we know, of love, and science actually backs up what we already know about them, that hugging really does make us feel better. So maybe if you're feeling down in the dumps or just a little need to pick me up, hug it out today. I like that. Losing weight and keeping it off can be difficult, so experts say the best diet and exercise plan is the one you can actually stick to. We'll share some ideas after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Good Morning Tucson now at 4:51. Let's get to a health alert that's dealing with a lot of certain blood pressure medication that's been recalled after testing showed that medication contained trace amounts of a cancer-causing material. Irbesartan tablets and 7 lots of irbesartan HCTZ tablets are being recalled as well. The company said the medication contained unacceptable levels of a likely carcinogen manufactured in China. Since the month of July, the factory has been linked to several recalls of regularly prescribed blood pressure drugs. You know, suicide rates, of course, are a serious issue being tackled across the nation. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline says it has answered millions of calls since it began all the way back in 2005. But did you know that there is another 24/7 hotline that actually helps anyone struggling with substance abuse? As reporter Nicole Vowell shares, a new report shows many people don't know about it.
About 15 years ago, my son Jim, he was 35, he died from an overdose of heroin and alcohol. And he had struggled with the disease off and on for about 20 plus years.
Barbara Allen knows the suffering that comes with substance abuse all too well.
I had already lost my brother Bill. Bill also suffered the disease of addiction. And when he was 36, somebody he knew shot him to death. And she was tweaking out on crystal meth.
2 other close family members, another brother and a niece, also died due to their battles with addiction.
Essentially, I buried 4 people to this disease.
Before their deaths, Allen tried to help find them many types of treatment. But one of the biggest issues she faced.
How do you find it? How do you find the services? Especially for someone who is in the midst of their addiction. What departments, what divisions, what agencies within the county or the state.
Today, Allen says locating that information is still a challenge. According to the Centers for Behavioral Health, only 10% of individuals who need treatment for addiction receive it. But there is one resource out there many people don't know about. Much like the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, also has a 24/7 hotline that connects those suffering with addiction to local services and care providers. It's the only free and federally managed helpline out there.
Whether it's a detox, a inpatient, an outpatient program.
Allen, now an advocate for addiction recovery, says those contacts close to home are the best resources when you or a loved one are seeking help. And SAMHSA is a good place to start.
Don't pick a treatment program based on something they read on the internet. Use a local resource, whether it's the health department, whether it's a local addiction specialist.
I'm Nicole Vowell reporting.
Also, folks, a new study says older people need to get more protein in their diets in order to stay healthy and maintain muscle mass and strength. Think foods like steak or chicken, nuts and seeds, Greek yogurt or milk. How much protein you need actually depends on your age, height, weight, and your activity level. The recommended dietary allowance for protein is 0.8 grams per 2.2 pounds of body weight. That's the minimum you should get every day. All right, well, now that we're a couple of weeks into 2019, many Americans are working hard to keep those New Year's resolutions and lose those extra pounds, right? But how do you make sure the weight actually stays off and this year's goal doesn't get put off to next year? With more, here's ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
Losing weight and keeping it off is difficult. The best diet and exercise plan is the one you can stick to. So where do you begin? According to the Centers for Disease Control, people respond differently to various diets. A low-carb diet may work well for your friends, but not for you. There are so many different diets and fitness plans, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But don't be afraid to experiment and find a good fit. Just focus on setting a goal and eating healthy. Some other tips include eating slowly, taking home leftovers, and making appointments to work out with friends or family. A new year is a new opportunity. Put your best foot forward and do what makes you happy and healthy. And remember, it's never too late to hit the restart button if you get tripped up. With this Medical Minute, I'm Stephanie Ramos, ABC News.
It's a new thrill coming to Old Tucson this week, how you will be able to test your marksmanship, but with a challenge as well. 4:56, you're watching Good Morning Tucson. Day 31 of the partial government shutdown. Lawmakers will return to Washington after the MLK holiday, but there's still no deal to reopen the government or provide financial relief to federal workers. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest from Washington.
Week 5 of the partial government shutdown, President Trump and congressional Democrats will continue pushing separate plans to reopen the government.
This is a common sense compromise both parties should embrace.
Over the weekend, the president offered Congress 3 years of protections for Dreamers, young people brought to the U.S. illegally as minors. In exchange, Trump wants that $5.7 billion for his southern border wall.
Are you confident GOP support is there for a plan among Trump's base and among conservatives in the House?
Well, I think the president's put a reasonable compromise on the table.
Democrats reportedly plan to counter, proposing no money for the wall, but $1 billion for border security, half for infrastructure.
Offering some of those protections that he took away back in exchange for the wall is not a compromise, but hostage taking.
This week, Democrats will introduce a new bill to help provide financial relief to 800,000 federal workers who are not getting paid. The TSA tells ABC News the agency is in uncharted territory. The number of employee call-outs increased to 8% this weekend.
It's demoralizing because you go to work and you expect, pay for hard work, and you wake up and your bank account's empty.
TSA is now implementing contingency plans, and despite the shutdown, hundreds showed up at this TSA job fair in Minnesota. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell plans to bring the president's proposal up for a vote tomorrow, but it likely won't have the needed 60 votes to pass. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump's personal attorney said that discussions about building a Trump Tower in Moscow lasted months longer than previously indicated. We'll hear more of what Rudy Giuliani said in an interview over the weekend. Plus, what a teen at the center of a video confrontation with a Native American organizer of a march in Washington, D.C. has to say about the incident. April, good morning.
Good morning. Strong winds will be the big weather story today, and then much cooler temps. We'll show you that and the 7-day forecast coming up. It's 5:11. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Hey, good to have you with us now on Good Morning Tucson, 5:14. President Trump, his personal attorney, actually said that discussions about building a Trump Tower in Moscow lasted months longer than previously thought.
Our understanding that they went on throughout 2016, probably could be up to as far as October, November. Our answers cover until the election. So anytime during that period, they could have talked about it. But the president's recollection of it is that the thing had petered out quite a bit.
The new timetable means that President Trump was trying to strike a deal while at the same time calling for an end to Obama-era sanctions against Russia. The remarks come amid fallout from a BuzzFeed report alleging that the president directed his former fixer Michael Cohen to lie to Congress about the Tower talks. Rudy Giuliani denied that claim, and in a rare statement, a spokesman for special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia probe called the report, quote, inaccurate. A teen at the center of a viral video confrontation with a Native American at a march in Washington, D.C. We're seeing it right here. Well, he says he has nothing to do or did nothing to provoke anyone. Nick Sandman of Covington Catholic High School in Kentucky said in a statement that he was trying to calm the situation. Sandman says students were waiting at the Lincoln Memorial for buses when 4 African American protesters began insulting them. The Native American, Nathan Phillips, approached the students to keep the peace between them and the third group of protesters. Sandman says the students began yelling to drown out the protesters. He says he did not hear students chant anything hateful or racist at any time. As much of the Midwest and New England digs out from a major snowstorm, the weather is creating dangerously icy conditions that could make travel kind of a challenge this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Temperatures across the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and Mid-Atlantic are going to drop 10 to 20 degrees below average today. Wind chills could hit 40 below in the Northeast. Airlines have canceled more than 4,500 flights since Friday, and disruptions to flight schedules are expected to extend into tomorrow as well. Thousands are without power in Connecticut and the state of Virginia. So far, the storm has claimed the lives of at least 6 people. So April, over the weekend, I was laying in bed going through Facebook. I was just waking up in the morning and I saw a screenshot from somebody at home. The temperature outside in Minnesota, 35 below zero with a wind chill of minus 52.
Oh my gosh.
Just going to leave you with that. Crazy, right?
And you're going, thank God.
Thank God I live here.
Could not be more opposite. I mean, even our low so far this morning is like, what, 56 degrees warmer than that? That's incredible.
Yeah,
and it's going to be pretty mild temperature-wise today. It's the wind that's going to be the big story. For now, calm, not bad at all. We're still seeing, obviously, not much light out there at all. We are going to see that sunrise probably in about 2 hours. But we are clearing. The clouds right now are mostly cloudy, but by the end of the day, will be mostly sunny. And that's the reason why temps will still be as warm as they are. We're relatively under some high pressure that has brought on temps about 4 to 6 degrees above the norm. Yesterday, we topped out at nearly 80 degrees in Tucson, Mark. This is, again, why you're here. More 60s and low 70s today. I don't think it'll be quite as warm as yesterday, already dropping about 10 degrees, but nothing compared to what we're going to see tomorrow. Again, today's big story, not so much the temperature drop, because this is still above normal, but it'll be the wind. That's going to be the big factor. Right now, not bad at all, but we get into later into the afternoon and you can see we're talking winds anywhere from 15 to 25 miles per hour and even higher over the mountain zones. That will be where we'll see the strongest winds with wind gusts up to 40 or even 50 miles per hour. And then it'll die down by tonight into Tuesday, but that's when we'll also start seeing much cooler air swinging down. We've got a low pressure system to our northwest. This is going to be the wind maker first, but then as the tail end of it swings right there through the northern half of the state, bringing on possibly even a little bit of snow to the White Mountains, it's going to drop our temperatures briefly to the 50s. That's for the highs tomorrow. So we're going to go from 79 yesterday, 69 today, down to 57 degrees tomorrow. That's more than a 20-degree drop in 48 hours. But good news for the weekend is we'll be right back to the low 70s. And for now, we're expecting to stay dry, even though we anticipate that big drop tomorrow. Wind today, much cooler temps tomorrow, and then a gradual warming trend. A little bit of cloud cover on Friday. Not expecting much more than that, and back to the low 70s for the weekend. All right, Big Al is off today, but let's get a look at the interstate. Not doing too bad. A little blown out there with those lights. Can't really see much, but I can tell you we're not seeing a lot of travel. A lot of people are off today, so I don't anticipate even rush hour to be as extreme today. Looking pretty good there on I-10 near Drexel in both directions. Don't forget about this work, though, way up on the northwest side, Cortero Farms between Camino de Oeste and Thornydale. They're doing some wall construction there. Looks like lots of landscaping on the shoulders and median west westbound is the most affected, so stay left to move through. Mark, back to you.
All right, April, thank you. Well, U.S. News just ranked the best online school programs. Top schools usually produce lower student debt, averaging about $19,000 for a bachelor's degree. Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University came in #1, followed by Arizona State. Ohio State University and Oregon State tied for 3rd place. These are also the top-ranked schools for veterans. Careers in computer and information technology are exploding right now, and nursing is another popular career change that people often go the online-only route. You can see the top 3 schools for both of those careers on your screen right now. For computer information technology, #1 is the University of Southern California. For nursing, hey, that's going to be Johns Hopkins University. Of course, in-state tuition is also still more affordable for some online-only degrees, so you should start with schools in your state first. A new technology could let us work from home to help keep others in the office healthier. How that technology is changing the face of sick days. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side. Well, Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich is advising people to take immediate steps to protect their personal information online. This comes after a security researcher found nearly 773 million emails and more than 21 million passwords have been exposed in an online database known as Collection #1. Some tips, of course, for online safety here: make strong passwords and update them often. Monitor credit and debit card activity really closely and immediately report any suspicious activity. Also, limit the amount of personal or sensitive information posted on your social media accounts. All right, what if you didn't have to burn a sick day when you call into work sick? Well, it's a reality as technology lets us work from home. All right, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg famously did this month. She kept up with cases after lung cancer surgery by reading transcripts from her house. You know, working from home while you're sick also helps you keep up on your work and stay comfortable, and could keep your coworkers and their families healthy. However, though, if your illness, of course, is so severe that you need to be asleep in bed, just go ahead and call in sick. Being really sick can impact the quality of your work. So can some medications as well. Human resource experts say companies should make sure everyone knows the specific policies for working from home. Heading to the gym to keep your New Year's resolutions can be tough on its own, right? But there are ways to still go and still give your wallet a break. Also, are you looking to join a gym but want to save as much as possible?
January is a great time to buy a gym membership because that's when they offer discounts to take advantage of all the people who make New Year's resolutions to get healthier or lose weight.
Well, Consumer Reports has some ideas on how to save on a gym membership. Coming up in our 6 o'clock hour, we'll share with you what you should keep in mind. Well, it can be stressful to think about heading to the dealership to ask for a replacement car key. We'll tell you some ways to get a key made and programmed for less so you don't waste your money.
Plus, how a school district in southern Arizona is being impacted by this ongoing partial government shutdown. That's next. You're watching Good Morning Tucson.
Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
Now on Good Morning Tucson, a safety warning for pet owners. Rural Metro Fire describes unexpected ways pets die during fires. Plus, as the partial government shutdown continues, how school districts are starting to see an impact when it comes to their free and reduced school lunch programs. And the match for Super Bowl 53 is set. Which teams are going to hit the field already next weekend? Can't believe it. Hey, good morning, Tucson. Happy Monday. I'm Mark Charter. Thanks so much for being with us. Whitney does have the day off. We're just about 5:30, bottom of the hour now. Because of the federal holiday, U.S. stock and bond markets, most schools, banks, and post offices will be closed today. In Atlanta, the Martin Luther King Jr. National Park has been closed because of the partial government shutdown, but thanks to a grant from Delta Airlines, the park will be open through the 3rd of February. All right, why don't we get a quick check at our forecast. April's here with a look at that. Hey, April, good morning.
You're kind of right. A chick? Let's get a chick.
Chick check.
Let's get a check with the chick. 46 outside right now. A little bit of cloud cover, but it is gradually clearing and will certainly clear a lot faster today as that wind picks up. And as you can see, it's going to pick up. We're not technically under the advisory, but we're still going to see some pretty strong winds in excess of 20 miles per hour today. But we'll still be relatively mild temperature-wise, 69 for the forecast high. Mark?
April, thank you. As the partial government shutdown continues, school districts are starting to see an impact when it comes to their free and reduced lunch programs. Now, on your sides, Veronica Acosta joining us in studio this morning with more on how one school district in southern Arizona is dealing with the effects. Veronica, good morning.
Mark, good morning. It's day 31 of the partial government shutdown, and as the days go on, the Sahuarita Unified School District, they continue to get more and more families applying for their free or reduced lunch program. Now, students went back to school from winter break on January 7th. Now, since then, the Sahuarita Unified School District says they've had more than 200 families apply for that national lunch program. District officials say the area is home to a big amount of federal employees, prompting them to do whatever they can to help during the shutdown.
You know, we pride ourselves on being a community, and the fact is it's unfortunate that the different branches of our government haven't been able to find common ground and fully operate the government. But the fact is, this is having an impact on our families. And so we're going to do whatever it takes to provide as much support as possible.
Now, as a way to help the community a little bit more, the district has actually made their emergency supply room available. It's filled with clothes and food, of course, available to all families who need it. Now, the district is currently trying to process the more than 200 applications for that free and reduced lunch program in order to better help those families out. Mark?
Veronica, thank you. Here's a couple of things happening this week we'd like to get you up to speed on. First, on Wednesday, the Tucson Pima collaboration to end homelessness will begin its annual homeless count. Volunteers who have been trained will go to different spots around town to count people who do not have shelter. The count is always done within the last 10 days of January because that's when officials say shelters tend to be packed. You can find more information on our website, kgun9.com. Another event happening, the town of Marana wants community input on policies and issues, so it's hosting a third round of workshops on Wednesday and Thursday. Leaders are looking to put Marana in a position for success through the year 2040. Wednesday's workshop starts at 6 in the evening at the Marana Municipal Complex, and then on Thursday the location changes to Wheeler Taft Abbott Senior Library. That will start at 6 o'clock as well. A national organization says anti-vaxxers are now listed in the same threat category as HIV, while experts say people are not getting shots, and why some groups say they're safe without them. Plus, why a frozen food item you might have in your freezer is being recalled this morning. Details after the break. A major food recall to tell you about this morning. It's 5:36. Glad you're with us. Johnsonville is recalling more than 48,000 pounds of its frozen bacon and cheddar ground pork patties. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says the pork patties could be contaminated with, get this, black rubber. Yeah, that recall involves products packaged on September 27th, October 17th, and 18th of last year. So far, there are no reports of any illnesses that are caused by those products. The anti-vaccination movement is now considered one of the biggest global threats to our health. That's according to the World Health Organization, which says it's on the same list as Ebola and HIV. In a survey, the top two reasons people say they did not get shots: number one, they don't think they are necessary, and number two, they think they cause autism. Groups like the AAP, CDC, and the American Academy of Family Physicians say vaccines are safe and they're effective too. People who are unvaccinated are vulnerable to various serious and possibly deadly diseases. Here's just one example for you this morning. The World Health Organization says vaccine hesitancy led to a 30% increase in measles cases worldwide from 2016 to 2017. Measles killed 110,000 people in 2017. Doctors say they're worried we're on a similar track for 2018 when those final numbers come out. A new study says older people need to get more protein in their diets just in order to stay healthy and maintain muscle mass and strength too. That's always good, right? Think foods like steak or chicken, nuts and seeds, Greek yogurt, milk. How much protein you need actually depends on your age, your weight, your height, and your activity level too. The recommended dietary allowance for protein is 0.8 grams per 2.2 pounds of body weight. That's the minimum you should get every day. Rodeo events are popular sports in Tucson. The local barrel racing star who many young cowgirls are looking up to this weekend. Hey, April, good morning.
Good morning. The big weather story today will be the wind. We'll tell you who's under the wind advisory. That's coming up. Back to you.
April, thanks. But first, Apple has reportedly filed a patent for what could turn out to be a game-changing upgrade for its iPhone. Yeah, ABC's Janae Norman and Victor Oquendo have details in today's Tech Bites. Good to have you with us on Good Morning Tucson. Now 5:44, a sharp increase. That's how the Rural Metro Fire Department is describing the number of pets that have died in fires this year compared to last. Not even 1 month into the new year, Rural Metro says it has seen 8 pets die. The total for last year was 4.
So far, we haven't even finished the first month of January, so seeing 8 animals is a lot for us to see at one point as far as fatalities.
So what can you do? Well, here are 2 basic tips from Rural Metro for you this morning. Get rid of any open flames in your home when you leave, including space heaters. Also get rid of or unplug any loose electric wires. Pets like to chew on those sometimes. Plus, if you evacuate with your pet, keep them on a leash or hold them as well. Well, British Prime Minister Theresa May returns to Parliament today to lay out her Brexit fallback plan. Her divorce deal with the EU was rejected by Parliament last week. May will reveal today how she plans to alter that deal, but there are a few signs that she plans to make any radical changes. Some lawmakers are pushing for the UK to delay its departure. That's scheduled for March 29th until politicians can agree on a way to move forward. Police and demonstrators clashed in Athens' Syntagma Square on Sunday as tens of thousands protested against the naming of Greece's northern neighbor. Protesters were seen hurling petrol bombs and stones towards law enforcement officials, with police responding with tear gas. That dispute is over the proposed renaming of Greece's northern neighbor, Macedonia, to the Republic of North Macedonia. Macedonia is the name of Greece's largest northern region. Critics say renaming the country of Macedonia, which requires Greece's approval, would step on Greek heritage and identity as well. Passengers on board a United flight from Newark, New Jersey to Hong Kong were faced with multiple travel nightmares over the weekend. Listen to this. First off, their plane was diverted to Canada because of a mechanical emergency. Okay, well then the plane couldn't take off again because of a mechanical issue there. No one could get off the plane because there were no customs personnel available to process them. So they waited and waited. The whole ordeal lasted more than 14 hours. United has apologized and everyone finally got back to Newark. Some passengers tweeted that they had to scrap their trips because of the overnight stay on the tarmac. United, as we mentioned, has apologized. All passengers were given a full refund and an additional $500 credit. Police in Northern Ireland said it appears nobody was hurt in a Saturday night car bombing that shook central Londonderry. The 2 suspects were arrested on Saturday in what police suspect to be an attack by the new IRA. Officials say the bomb was a highly unstable device that could have detonated at any time.
A callous act, a deliberate act against the people of Derry and against the local police service. A deliberate attempt to harm this community. And one which we must all condemn.
It's scary, right? Well, police also confirmed in their statement that at least 2 armed men hijacked a pizza delivery car and installed a bomb inside of that, which was then driven to the location before it was detonated.
Now, KGUN 9 on your side. First warning weather with meteorologist April Madison.
5:47. Welcome to your Monday and MLK Day. Let's get a look at this time lapse from yesterday from Mount Bigelow. Throughout the majority of the day, very warm, very nice. We saw partly cloudy skies. Those clouds started to increase, but then as the sun or moon rather was just getting set to rise, those clouds got a little bit thicker, and unfortunately, based on this time lapse, kind of moved out of the area right before I could really get a shot of it with the full super wolf blood moon moon and eclipse. I got them all in there. Yeah, it was pretty cool, but we got plenty of pictures and videos sent to us, so thankfully our very loyal viewers made sure that we did not miss it. This one sent to us by Heidi Lee, as it was really probably at its most read and just as the eclipse was beginning. If you have photos you would like to send, share at kgun9.com. That's where you want to send them, and thank you to everyone who has sent those in, by the way. 29 in Wilcox, but otherwise 40s and 50s across southern Arizona. We've got some pretty mild temps out there, cool but mild comparatively speaking because of the clouds that are still with us. It's not because of the wind just yet, but wind is certainly going to be the bigger weather story today. We're anticipating anywhere up to 25-mile-per-hour winds, especially these areas to our east and over the higher elevations. Now, Tucson, not technically under the wind advisory, but you can see we're still going to see probably up to 20-mile-per-hour winds with gusts possibly even higher. And then these areas you're seeing well into the 20s and maybe even 30s. Higher elevations could see wind gusts as high as 50 miles per hour. And this is the reason for it. You see this system sinking all the way down into parts of Vegas and Southern California. It will eventually bring us cooler air, but today wind is going to be the big story, and that's the reason for the advisory. Advisory starts at 11 a.m., continues till 7 p.m. So for a good 8 hours, higher elevations plus these areas under that extreme wind, again with gusts up to 40, maybe even 50-mile-per-hour winds. It will eventually bring us a big cool down, not a lot of rain, but we are going to see 50s for the high tomorrow. We'll go from near 70 down to 57, then a gradual warm up, getting back to the low 70s for the weekend. All right, let's get a look at the roads. Not a lot going on just yet. I don't think rush hour will be as extreme today, obviously, with a lot of people having the day off, but this work on Houghton is still going to be an issue regardless. The project completion not till another year, January of 2020. No more Wildcat parking on west side of Houghton, so you will definitely need to be watching for those restrictions or allow a lot of extra time. Also the roundabout versus traffic signal at La Cañada and more. All right, Mark, back to you.
April, thank you. All right, so if you've ever had to get a replacement key for your car, you probably know how expensive they can be, right? $200, $300, even $400 for a key and programming too. But consumer reporter John Matteries has some good news for you so you don't waste your money.
Ever lose a car key or have one go bad after 2 or 3 years? You probably dread asking the dealer for a new one because you're worried about the cost, but you do have some cheaper options. Ron Sparer needed a key for his 2003 Toyota. He knew the dealer would charge well over $100, so he ordered an inexpensive blank online. But now
I can't get the key cut.
Ron says 3 hardware stores and big box stores all refused to even try to duplicate his key.
All 3 said the same thing.
They won't cut a key.
They would not cut it.
Some implied it was a security issue to prevent theft. Others wouldn't do it because today's keys are smart keys with a unique code.
The chip is in the end here. It's molded into the plastic.
With most car keys made the past 20 years now coming with a computer chip inside, hardware stores have struggled to make duplicates. That is until now, thanks to some new high-tech programs.
We are able to do between 95 and 98% of the keys that are on the road now.
Ace Hardware's John Ducleff says a growing number of Ace stores have joined the Duracell Renewal Program. Not only can they find you the exact fob for your car, they can cut the key blank, then reprogram the whole thing to work.
Actually marry the key, reprogram the key, and reprogram the dashboard.
Now, it won't work with some high-tech European cars like Mercedes and Volvos, or new cars with no keys at all. Ron, frustrated, finally cut the key blank himself, then learned from a YouTube video how to sync the remote.
Do different things like press the brake pedal 5 times and the accelerator once and this kind of thing. And then you got a key that's all set to go.
If you need a key, check with your dealer first. Some are still reasonable, but if not, look for a hardware store with this new technology so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries, KGUN 9 on your side.
Now, KGUN 9 on your side sports.
Well, Super Bowl 53 is set. It's going to be the Patriots and the Rams. This comes after both conference championship games went into overtime yesterday. New England's Rex Burkhead with a 2-yard touchdown run in overtime that lifted the Patriots to a 37-31 OT win over the Chiefs. Quarterback Tom Brady and head coach Bill Belichick are headed to their 9th Super Bowl.
Knew we had to go down and score. We were saying on the sidelines, let's just go down and end this now. Let's make some plays, everyone step up, which everyone did. Everyone was making highlight catches left and right, getting first downs. It was just huge. It was crucial. And that's what we did.
When you got 70,000 people cheering against you, it's pretty sweet when you went on the road. And it's a hard thing to do in the NFL. It's certainly a hard thing to do against the first-ranked team, in the conference, who's been playing great all year and certainly play well at home. So we knew it was going to take a lot. It obviously took into overtime. It took some great plays and great conversions.
Meantime, the Saints got a bad break when a pass interference call wasn't called late in the game. Then Rams' Greg Zuerlein with a 57-yard field goal in OT. Hey, that lifted LA to a 26-23 overtime win at New Orleans. Super Bowl 53 is in 2 weeks in Atlanta. Well, we're 1 month away from this year's Tucson Rodeo. Among the annual competitors, barrel racing champion Ann Marana's own Sherry Cervi. And while Cervi still has a few go-arounds left in her, she's shaping the sport's future with a new generation of stars.
When it comes to barrel racing, there's no one better than Sherry Cervi.
Longevity and success.
The Marana resident and Cowgirl Hall of Famer is a 4-time world champion. But as she gets in the saddle this weekend, she's taking a back seat.
I've grown up in rodeo my whole life, and it's something I've always wanted to have a youth race for some kids.
Enter the Sherry Cervi Youth Championships, held here at the Pima County Fairgrounds. Some of these girls have been riding as far back as they can remember.
I've been barrel racing for about, I don't know, really.
What they do know is how to use their horsewomanship skills to fast get around the preset barrels in a cloverleaf pattern.
Many of the competitors in this weekend's event are children of riders that Sherry has gone up against in her 25-year career. How does that make you feel?
Old, but it's awesome. That's what it's about.
Those riders include Salem Brooks and Sloan Olson. They traveled from Texas to this weekend's competition.
Just to have fun and compete, pretty much. To have fun and learn and compete.
I hope they take away win or lose. It's a great experience. They can take something positive, and that they can go home and work on maybe being a better rider, or get something with their horse, something positive, and have met some friends that they will have for a lifetime.
Well, this national holiday means many people will have the day off of work and school. Some family-friendly places here in southern Arizona that will be open today. 5:55. You're watching Good Morning Tucson.
Oh, here we are. Hey, today is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, if you didn't know. And if you have the day off, you might want to spend the day at an Arizona national park.
Right, so get this. That's because all the park admission fees are free for the holiday weekend. This is actually the third year park admission is free in Arizona for the holiday. Kind of cool, right? And as we told you about this one last week, but a reminder for you, Old Tucson Studios, that's offering a great deal this MLK Day as well.
This is kind of cool. Old Tucson will have a $1 admission today only for kids ages 11 and under. There will also be special kids games and prizes in addition to regularly scheduled entertainment, and that is from 10 until 5, so you have the whole day.
That looks awesome. Also coming up later this week, Old Tucson is opening the world's first laser target zip line. Cool. That's officially opening up on Friday. Now, according to Old Tucson, it's going to be a cowboy and canine ride that will test riders' marksmanship skills. So we're not 100% sure, but we're assuming they put somebody up on it, and then you point the laser at them.
Yes, right? And so
I think so.
I just want to see video of it.
Me too.
I need to see what it
The
looks
thing is, I haven't been to Old Tucson yet, so this might be a good
Not
opportunity.
at all?
Not yet.
Oh, I did not know that.
On the bucket list.
Our next trip together.
You're taking me.
Yes.
Stay with us.
Okay.
More GMT continues now at 6.
Good Morning Tucson starts right now.
Now on Good Morning Tucson, as the partial government shutdown continues, school districts are starting to see an impact. How their school lunch programs are taking a hit. Plus, Tucson police say one of its own is now in the Pima County Jail. The probable cause investigators found that allegedly ties the officer with someone he was investigating. And it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. What delays you can expect from local services today. Good Monday morning to you, Tucson. I'm Mark Charter. Thanks so much for waking up with us. 6 o'clock, top of the hour. Whitney does have the day off. If you looked up last night, it was quite the sight to see as the super blood wolf moon eclipse and the sunset put on quite a show for us. KGUN 9 viewer Bob Tenner shared these pictures with us. Hey, he snapped the photos out at Gates Pass. I love the saguaros in the foreground here, April. It's just beautiful, isn't it?
It doesn't even look real.
No, I know.
It looks like a postcard.
Yeah.
And someone actually witnessed that and captured it and sent it to us.
Computer background picture.
Right? How awesome. Our viewers are pretty awesome. We have a little bit of that cloud cover left, and that's the only reason why we're sitting as warm as we are. Still relatively cool out there, though. Take a look at our temps right now. We got 43 in Tucson, a little bit thicker cloud cover out west where we're still sitting in the 50s, 20s, though, in Wilcox. It is going to be breezy today. That'll be the big weather story. 47 by the 8 o'clock hour, breezy, and 69, eventually becoming mostly sunny later this afternoon. Mark, back to you.
April, thank you. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is promising to bring President Trump's weekend pitch to end the partial government shutdown to the floor coming up this week. Saturday, the president launched a new plan offering temporary protection for some undocumented immigrants in exchange for $5.7 billion in border wall funding. Now, even if the Senate passes the measure, the plan looks to be dead on arrival in the House. Speaker Nancy Pelosi has already turned down the offer. In response, President Trump tweeted that Pelosi is acting, quote, irrationally. Now, this was supposed to be a recess week for Congress, but members are being brought back tomorrow because of the shutdown, now in its 31st day. If something does not get passed by Friday, hundreds of thousands of federal workers will miss yet another paycheck. Meantime, school districts here in southern Arizona are seeing the impacts of the ongoing shutdown. Now, on your sides, Veronica Acosta joining us in studio now with more on how one district out there is trying to help families who are out of work. Veronica, good morning.
Mark, good morning. The Sahuarita Unified School District, they actually took to Facebook nearly a month ago now to say it was offering help to government-employed families. Now, in that post, the district told parents if they were being impacted by the partial government shutdown, they could apply for the free or reduced lunch program for their kids. Now, since students returned to school in the first week of January, the district, they've actually gotten more than 200 new applications for that program. But the district, they didn't stop there.
We also have a setup at all of our schools where families can receive assistance for urgently needed items such as school supplies or school clothing. We have strong partnerships with entities in the community such as the Sahuarita Food Bank, where we have quick and ready access to food and those types of items.
Now, the rooms with supplies that Dr. Valenzuela mentioned, they are open to all families across the district. They do have everything from clothes to food. And currently the district, they're trying to sift through all of those new applications for the free or reduced lunch program and approve all of the ones that they can. Mark?
Right, Veronica, good information. Thank you. Well, today is the official holiday honoring the life of civil rights icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The holiday was approved in 1983, becoming the first federal holiday to honor an African American. Well, since then, many have urged Americans to turn this day off into a day of service. Here are some ways that you can make a difference. Type in your zip code on nationalservice.gov to find a way to volunteer near you. Maybe consider delivering meals to senior citizens through Meals on Wheels. Also, you can donate your talents. Don't forget about that. You can help build homes with Habitat for Humanity, or simply be kind. That's an easy one. Give a compliment, offer to make breakfast, or hold the door for the person behind you. As Dr. King said, the time is always right to do right. And transit services here in Tucson will operate on a regular weekday schedule this MLK Day. That includes the SunTrans, SunLink, SunVan, and the Sun Shuttle as well. However, though, the trash and recycling pickup in Tucson will be affected by Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Trash will not be collected today. That means people with regular trash collection on any day, Monday through Friday, will have their service delayed by 1 day. The Los Reales landfill will be open. Holiday collection schedules are available on the City of Tucson's website. Tucson police say one of its officers has been arrested. 604, good to have you with us. They say Officer Richard Daniel, the man you see right here up on your screen, is accused of having unlawful sexual conduct with a woman he was investigating. Police say it happened last Sunday. TPD detectives were able to establish probable cause and arrested Officer Daniel yesterday for 2 felony charges. He's now in the Pima County Jail. Officer Daniel has been with Tucson police for 3 years. With the partial government shutdown lingering in the United States, many federal workers out there still without pay. Well, now some are looking for assistance, the new company to step up and offer a helping hand. Plus, what a teen at the center of a video confrontation with a Native American organizer of a march in D.C. has to say about that particular incident. And later, a winter storm wreaked havoc over the weekend, covering parts of the Midwest and Northeast in snow. Hey, we've got to look at some of the aftermath for you this morning on Good Morning Tucson. Stay with us. Brand new information into our newsroom within the last 30 minutes to share with you now. California Senator Kamala Harris announced that she will run for president in 2020. She posted this video on Twitter earlier this morning. She's joining an increasingly crowded field of Democrats seeking to challenge President Donald Trump. The bid for the presidency puts Harris in a position to become the first woman and woman of color to ascend to the nation's highest office. As part of her announcement on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Harris cited the civil rights leader as an inspiration, saying she seeks to continue his fight to make the country better. President Trump's personal attorney said that discussions about building a Trump Tower in Moscow lasted months longer than previously thought. Listen.
Our understanding that they went on throughout 2016, probably could be up to as far as October, November. Our answers cover until the election. So anytime during that period, they could have talked about it. But the president's recollection of it is that the thing had petered out quite a bit.
The new timetable means that President Trump was trying to strike a deal while at the same time calling for an end to Obama-era sanctions against Russia. The remarks come amid fallout from a BuzzFeed report alleging that the president directed his former fixer Michael Cohen to lie to Congress about the tower talks. Rudy Giuliani denied that claim, and in a rare statement too, a spokesman for special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia probe called the report, quote, inaccurate. A teen at the center of a viral video confrontation. We're seeing it right here. It was with a Native American at a march in Washington, D.C. says he did nothing to provoke anyone. Nick Sandman of Covington Catholic High School in Kentucky said in a statement that he was trying to calm the situation. Well, Sandman says students were waiting at the Lincoln Memorial for buses when 4 African-American protesters began insulting them. The Native American, Nathan Phillips, approached the students to keep the peace between them and the third group of protesters. Sandman says the students began yelling to drown out those protesters. Well, he says he did not hear students chant anything hateful or racist at any time. PayPal is stepping in to help workers impacted by the government shutdown. The online payments company plans to offer cash advances of up to $500 for federal employees to help pay for foods, gas, and other necessities as well. Banks and credit unions are also helping federal workers in some way, shape, or form. PayPal's CEO says the company is proud to stand with so many other great companies to offer assistance. Are you trying to stay fit while keeping the gym membership fees slim? Well, in today's Consumer Report, some tips on how to save while working out in the new year. Plus, the frigid temperatures can bring out the kid in you, how officers are having fun with winter storm parking regulations over on the East Coast. April, good morning.
Good morning. Wind will be the big weather story today, but then much cooler highs move in. We'll show you how long that's going to last in your 7-day forecast. It is 6:11. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Thanks so much for being with us here on Good Morning Tucson, just about 6:15 or so. So this morning, an Alabama community is beginning to pick up the pieces after a tornado caused some really serious damage. Come take a look at this video we've got here for you. As you can see, multiple homes and buildings, including a century-old church, were completely destroyed in this past weekend's weather event. Several people suffered minor injuries as well. The city's mayor says the residents will recover.
God has a plan. We don't know what God's plan is always, but listen, we'll come together as a community and we'll be better. I promise you, we'll be better because of this, and it hurts.
The National Weather Service will conduct a storm survey today to find out how powerful that storm actually was. You know, as much of the Midwest and New England digs out from a major snowstorm, the weather creating dangerously icy conditions as well. It could definitely make a travel challenge this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday too. Temperature